Good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday. I thought I'd come on and try and get this finished today. I was trying to get on yesterday, but just extremely busy. We got a lot of activity going on. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for stopping in. So, we're going to go ahead and try and finish this up today. I need to paint the candy canes on this. I actually have candy canes that need to go on a banner, so I'll paint that. I'm going to use warm white. Then I got to finish highlighting and shading my bow for the wreath and the ornament. So hopefully we can get this wrapped up today. Because I have some cute designs that I want to get started painting. So I'm hoping to do that next week, and I'm almost finished with my other design that I'm creating. So, like I said, I'm going to use warm white. So I'm just taking a makeup sponge and just going to lightly dab onto my wood, trying to keep from covering up the score lines. But if I do happen to do that, there is a tool out there that you can use. And I'm using one of these cruddy replacement sponges that is not very dense. So it's going to take me going over this a couple times. So how is everyone doing today? It's been getting pretty chilly at night where I'm at. And it has been busy around here. We have the ROC benefit last night right up the street from where I live. It's an annual thing. ROC stands for Rock Out Cancer, and it's just a great thing that they do. They do it every year. Big attendance, live music, lots of food, fireworks. Just a really nice thing. And then, of course, yesterday was the parade for Carnation Week. It's winding down. And they had fireworks last night as well. So, I think they have, today's the last day for Carnation Week. Probably last day for Carnation Days in the park. In a couple weeks, high school football will be starting, and my husband and I are looking forward to that. And school's right around the corner. That's not too far away. And as you can see, I did get paint in my score marks, but if you take a tool and dig them out while they're wet, you won't even know that you did it. Plus, we've had Shaker Woods going on. This is the first weekend for that. It's a 3-weekend rather, craft show that draws a lot of attention around here. So lots of things to do. Good morning. Thanks for stopping in. So this particular candy cane that's on this sticky board is going to be put on a banner. So I thought, since I'm painting this other candy cane, I might as well paint that as well. It's going to probably take several coats of this white. I don't care what color white you're using. Good morning. Whether it's just a regular titanium white. I use all Deco Art paints, by the way. Or this warm white. What else do they have? They have a whitewash. It just takes several coats of paint to get good coverage. And I think the reason why I chose warm white, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference between this and the regular white. My colors are pretty muted on this particular element. And so, you know, like I said, the warm white is not as bright as the snow white. So I just thought I would go with this color instead. Last coat. And you don't have to press very hard to dig this paint out of these score lines. Now I know I want to do a little bit more strings of lights. I won't do that on camera. I think I probably want a string of lights coming out of this box and going down on the surface of my bench. So those are really time consuming. I won't have anything like that in the file where it's all combined, like I do for the string of lights, you know, for the antlers. I will offer a string of lights for in front of the body of the reindeer. And you'll get two different options, you know, with the string of lights. You can do the bulbs individually like I did, and then go and get yourself some 26 gauge floral wire and string them that way, or you can just cut the piece and then just glue it on. I personally like to do the whole wire thing because I think it gives it more of a 3D look. It just adds a little bit more interest. So I always like to give options with my designs, so you'll have that choice. I have these berries I gotta get painted too. So I'm just gonna use a color called Country Red. That's my go-to color. I also need to shade around the red banner. I have it painted, but I definitely have to shade it. And hopefully I can get away with one coat of red. Kind of went over my line. Let's see. I need to change my glasses. So bear with me while I clean my other ones. Yeah, kids will be starting school here within the next week or so. Some of the schools around here, they start class in August, and some are right after Labor Day. But it's right around the corner. And it's definitely been getting chillier at night. I mean, it actually, this morning seemed like fall, waking up. So we've had a pretty hot summer. We had some bad weather Tuesday. We've had some storms around here this year, which is not normal. As a matter of fact, the tornado sirens was going off on Tuesday night. And there's actually, from those storms, people still don't have power. There was a few tornadoes that touched down. Nothing close to me, thank goodness, but it's, where I live out in the country, and even though I may, live on a farm, and there's a lot of farms out this way, there's a lot of people that live in mobile homes, double wides, and they don't have basements. I'm glad none of my family, lives in trailers, especially the way the weather's been. And there's a lot of trailer parks around where I live. I know a lot of people that live in them. Painting these little stripes is going to be time consuming. Because you can't use a sponge, you just got to use a very small brush. And this red doesn't always coat very well. But to me, it just makes sense to, paint the whole thing white and then go back and paint the stripes that you intend to be red. Because it would be time consuming to just paint all these stripes individually. And even though I'm using a brush and not a sponge, what I'm doing is when I'm applying my paint, I'm actually lifting my brush up when I get to the end, or rather the side, however you want to decipher it, so it's not going over the side. And I'm getting paint on my, side of my piece of wood. But if you happen to do that, all you have to do is take a wet wipe or a Clorox wipe, Lysol, whatever, and just wipe it. It's best to do it, immediately, I mean, if the paint's dried on there, you can still get it off. It just, I feel that you have to rub a little bit harder. So I always like to do it right away. Plus two, you can use paint pens, magic markers to go over the edges of your piece of wood, and that'll cover up the paint that you got on it. I will go back and shade a little bit of white. Well, I'll shade this white, excuse me. Probably with a little antique white where the candy canes cross, just to add a little bit of shadow underneath the candy cane that's on top. Can't believe it's almost the middle of August already. Where has the time gone this year? My sister will be turning 60 in 4 days. As a matter of fact, her birthday and my brother-in-law's birthday is the same day. I mean, what's the chances of that? But I'll take this time and just say happy birthday, Lori. Welcome to the world of 60. I think age is just a number. Now, some things that people do is once they get their candy cane painted, um, they will highlight with white down the center of it, all the way down, even on top of the white, to kind of put a shine, make it look like it's shiny, but also to, um, if you do a double float, it'll give the illusion of circular. I'm not sure if that's something I'm going to do. So there was some professional football games on yesterday. I'm a Steelers fan. They didn't look good. But I am not expecting much out of them this year. But the Browns even look worse. Their defense looked good, but yeah, no. It'll be interesting. Olympics are about over. I'll tell you what, the men's basketball team, which I want to, before it's gone, I want to see that game. I didn't get to watch it when they played Serbia. I mean, Serbia was spanking them big time. And the United States come back to win by like, what, I think 3 or 4? Holy smokes. That's all I can say. It's definitely a game that I would like to watch. I love basketball. I love football. I've always liked sports. I'm not a baseball fan. I think it's too slow paced. I like a fast paced sport. Even though I did play softball when I was younger, that's just not my thing. I've been to some professional baseball games. I don't think I would pay the money to go again. The Guardians started off good, which I'll just call them the Indians because, well, I'm not going to go there, but they're always going to be the Indians. But they're not, I don't know. They always start off strong and then finish not good. So I don't know. Good morning. So I think after I just go over the red again, I think that'll be enough coats. And probably what I'll do is I will do a little bit of shading and highlighting on this red, just because the candy cane looks flat, in my opinion. It just, I don't know. Got to bring a little bit of some type of interest to it. It just looks blasé. So I will do something to it. Just to try and make it not so flat looking, bring a little bit of interest to it, because it's just, I don't know. I have to hit that area with white. Now I know in the past when I've done candy canes, I've taken and even when I did my firecracker, I highlighted the outside, well, rather shaded, excuse me, the outside edges of those stripes just to bring in another color, just to give it a little bit more interest. I think I'm gonna probably do that here. Because it just, I mean, it just is, I don't know. It don't look good. I know I have a pretty tiny angle brush that I can use. All right. Shading and highlighting this bow is going to be a little time consuming. All right. But I'm going to use a small brush with that too, because I just want the highlighting just to be pretty minimal. So I like to use the neon fiery red to highlight my country red. You want to be careful though, because it is a pretty bright red. I just put a little bit on the corner of my brush like that. Then I take it to my paper palette and I blend it to try and get a gradient on it. Also too, I need to highlight this ornament. So I'm just going to highlight the left side just to bring a little lightness. I need to try and highlight these berries. Excuse me. So I'm just going to go on the outside edge, I think, of the bows, just to bring a little lightness, and then of course I will go back and shade. That might end up being a little bit brighter than what I wanted, but we will see. My goal here, with all the shading and highlighting that I'm doing on this bow is, what I'm trying to accomplish is take a flat piece of wood, even though it has score lines, and try and make it look more 3D and actually look like, you know, you're seeing layers, getting the optical illusion of layers. I'm just going to go on the outside edges of the tails of this bow. I'm not going to worry about the bottom part of it. I just want to bring a little bit of brightness. That's too much highlighting. That's pretty bright. I hope it fades. probably enough highlighting. I'm going to take my antique white and just shade a little bit. I'll probably go around the outside edges of the white. Just to kind of, I don't know, just calm this down. Because it's just kind of, it's just standing out at me. Now you could go across the stripes, but I think I'm just going to go on the edges. And two, what this antique white is doing is kind of giving it like an old distressed look on this white. And it definitely is calming down the white. And I'm just holding my brush at an angle. So I can get very minimal shading. Because I still want a little bit of white to show through. So I'm just going to go down one side, let that dry, and then I'll come back and go down the other side. And if you happen to get in your red paint, just take a Q-tip, wipe it off. That's one thing you can do. Or you can just go back with red paint and touch it up. Whichever you feel more comfortable doing. Because the area is definitely very small. But just that little bit kind of calms down that white, I think. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the red. But it just, to me, it just kind of calms it down a little bit. I don't know if you can see it all that well in the camera. I know what I see when I'm painting and what is being displayed on the camera sometimes looks different. I mean, it just kind of gives it a little bit, it calms it down. And just kind of gives it a little bit of an antique-ish feel. I guess that's why they call it antique white. It's one of my favorite colors. It's far from being white, that's for darn sure. But it's just, I love this color. I use it a lot. And I usually shade my white with antique white. I believe the color that Deco Art recommends is a gray. But it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't seem to go with what I'm doing. So I prefer to use this antique white. It puts an aging on whatever it is that you're painting. I absolutely love the look that I get. Okay, that's way better. I hope I can do some good shading on this bow because it's a lot brighter than what I wanted. So what I'm going to do is inside these, the area of this bow, I'm going to water down some black plum because what I want to do is like a wash. I don't want it solid, but I want it to be able to darken it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by watering down some black plum. And just going on the inside of that, just to darken it up. See how it just does a wash and you can see where it's gotten darker, but it's not real solid like if I was to just put that on there right out of the bottle. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish by watering it down. Because I am going to go back and shade these areas with black plum. Hopefully I can do that because they are very small areas. I probably should use a smaller brush this time. But if, you know, you can't see my plate, but it's just, it's almost the consistency of water when you do a watercolor. It's very runny. I don't know if you can tell that on camera how runny it is. It's like more water than paint. If that makes sense. All right. Go ahead and go on the outside edges of these candy canes. You definitely want to water down this black plum, because it's extremely dark. And I think a key to using this particular color to shade and have success is blending your paint very well too. And this just, you know, going around these outside edges with this dark color just kind of continues to add to like a distressed look of this, an aged look, I think. All right. Let's see. I need a really narrow angle brush. And this brush doesn't hold any paint, so let's try another one. You definitely got to have a lot of bristles in your brush. I think the thicker the brush, the better results you're going to get. Whether it's floating, shading, highlighting, or just even base coating. I'm just trying to create a thin, darker line. I'm not one for harsh lines, but there's certain times that, yeah, should do it. I feel this is one of them. Just to distinguish more shading. Hello. Yeah, just adding these extra colors just, it definitely brings in a different look. And I think that's about it for that. Now we have to do just a little bit more shading on this bow. I don't know about this brush. So we will try maybe a different one. I think what I'm gonna do just to get a little bit more distinction is I'm gonna take a liner brush and just go down the one side inside these bows just to get a more distinct shading line. It's a little bit bolder than what I wanted, but I just felt that it needed to just be a little bit brighter. And two, if you look, I mean, it's kind of given a little bit more dimension and a different type of illusion. I always like trying different ways of trying, if I can't achieve what I'm after floating, I always like to try other things. So don't be afraid to try something different if you're not getting the look that you're after. That just makes them look a little bit darker, gives them a little bit more separation and distinction. I mean, it's a lot harsher than what I like, but it's giving me the look that I'm after, that I can't achieve with an angle brush because the area is just so small. It's very narrow. Now, this might sound crazy, but I want the inside part of this bow just a little bit brighter. So I'm going to go back and highlight these edges with the country red, because that's originally what I started with. I'm just going to do it ever so lightly, just to bring just a little bit more brightness back. You guys probably can't see the difference on camera, but I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit more highlighting on this Christmas ornament. Then I need to decide if I want to make, I don't even know what that's called. Gold or silver on these ornaments. I'm just kind of going over these areas that are kind of close to the shading just to brighten it up a little bit. I do need to get a little bit of little more shading to the side of where this knot will be, but that's what it's going to look like. And I think it's given it a layered look. Just need a little bit more shading. And I do need to go around and shade around the banner. Completely forgot about that. So definitely need a wider brush. I have a tendency to go off the camera when I'm holding my piece and I'm painting. Let that dry. I think I've got it pretty good there. Yeah, I think that's all right. I might though just to break it up a little bit, go around the side of this. Just to calm it down a little bit. And my water's in pretty bad shape. So, I foresee myself emptying it, cleaning it. As soon as I'm done shading with this black plum. Let that dry. All right. I think I'm gonna do silver. And what I'm using is DecoArt's Dazzling Metallics. It's called Shimmering Silver. I've used this before on the tailpipe of my truck. So it goes on pretty good. Like I said, I didn't, I'm just gonna go on this just for, in case it doesn't line up good enough. I did not, for some reason, I missed the score marks on that, so I definitely am gonna correct that before I release this file. I mean, you could add shading and highlighting to that, but I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm definitely missing some score lines, so I gotta get that corrected. Now, DecoArt has a lot of metallic paints, different styles, colors. I have quite a few, so they're nice paints. They go on really good. All right. Okay, let that dry. I'll do one more coat. Might as well. Get this glued. Get it out of the way. Because it's done. I use stick fast thick glue. You only need a little bit. And be certain of where you want to place it because it dries quickly. That's why they call it stick fast, because they ain't a kidding. That's actually too much glue. I got a little bit of silver here, and I kind of want to be careful because that's a little fragile. Oops. It's kind of hard to see. Now I'm just gonna put glue just up here on this part because the tails kind of hang down, so I'm not putting glue where it's not gonna be touching any wood. I'm gonna do it at the top because this stuff, I mean, it holds. It's really strong glue. And I just try and put my glue down the middle. That way it doesn't ooze out if we press down. Because what I can tell you about this glue is even though it is clear, it goes on, it dries, excuse me, it'll leave a white mark. So I like to just only put it down in the middle. That was actually too much glue. I'm just trying to line up my sides, get them even. I should have removed some white paint off of there. Hopefully I can get that off. Let me see if I can do that with maybe just some water. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So that completes that portion of the insert. Go ahead and do one more pass. Now, all we have is the banners to do and what goes on them. So, with that being said, like I said, my water's pretty dirty. We have these elements we have to paint for the banners. So, I will empty my water. We'll come back and work on those. We actually got the candy cane portion done. We have a starter, put on a Christmas tree, a holly, and a stocking, and a present. Those are going to be the things that go on. These, I'm not sure which one's going where. So what I'll do is I'll paint my tree and my holly first. And then I'll decide what color I want to do my stockings and my present. Because I know I don't want to put this candy cane, and this is just my thought. I know I don't want to put it on the blue, which you can't see it, because it'll look, it'll look patriotic. So I'll probably put that on the green. I might do the holly on the yellow. I'm not for sure. Maybe do the tree on the green. I know I'm not going to do the tree on the red. So, so let me empty out my water, clean it, and I will come back and I'll get this finished up. So I hope you stick around. See you soon. Okay, I'm back. So we finished up this portion of the insert. Thank you to the 2 people that chose to stay. So this is finished. What we're going to do now is work on the banners. And what goes on them. So, like I said, I'm uncertain what I'm going to put where. But I chose to make my banners the same color as the light bulbs. The Christmas light bulbs. So, I know I'm going to paint my holly and tree first and decide what color banner I'm going to put those on. And then I'll come back and I'll paint the stocking and the present. So, what I'll do is, where'd my Hauser medium green go? Huh. That's weird. Here it is. So, I'm going to paint the holly and the tree, the Hauser medium green. And I need to paint the trunk of the tree. I'm just going to kind of like replicate what I did on the bigger tree. So I'm going to paint the stem honey brown. Then I'll just lightly shade this with milk chocolate. And I'm just going to go ahead and use a makeup sponge to paint these. just a little bit more green. Hello. Thanks for stopping in. And this green does take a couple coats. I remember that from the last time trying to paint my tree. And I'm just going to dig out that score line. See, if you do it when it's wet, you just, it's easier. Okay. Let's get that milk chocolate out there and do a little shading. It doesn't take a whole lot of paint for these smaller things. I mean, just a little drop will be more than enough. All right. And we're going to highlight the outside edge of the holly along with the tree with Hauser light green. Let's see. So because this holly is so thin, or narrow, I guess it's a better way to put it, I'm just gonna go down one side, let that dry, and then I'll come back and do the other side. Let's see. And I will go back and do the sides of this tree, but I'm just trying to get this rounded part done, the layers. First, get it dried, and then I'll go back. Because you don't want to try and highlight or shade an area that your brush will be touching, because you'll end up taking off whatever highlighting and shading you did, because the water from the brush will hit it and remove it. So, you know, keep that in mind to kind of always let your layers of paint dry. What doesn't matter even if you're shading or highlighting, if you try and put too many coats on as far as base coats go, and it's not, the underneath layer is not dry, it will lift the paint off. You can't even see the highlighting on this holly. And if you happen to use a whole lot of water, which I do when I shade and highlight, and really it's a bad habit, your highlighting and shading will definitely fade, because it's very diluted. The paint is very diluted, so it does have a tendency to fade. I just use an abundance of water. It's a horrible habit I have, and I just don't know how to break myself of it. I mean, you can probably just see the water laying in the video. Well, that's wider than what I wanted. Oh well. I'm just going to go around and do both sides. I kind of got my brush at an angle, so I'm not going to brush off that paint. Yeah.
You want a hot dog?
Not now.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. That's good enough. So I'll go ahead and shade with the Hauser dark green. Those hollies definitely have to dry before I can do that. So I'll shade underneath the, whoops, I gotta do the sides. Completely forgot that. And while that's trying to dry, I'll go ahead and paint this star. I know I used marigold and highlighted with moon yellow. Shaded with a little honey. I'll do one more coat of highlighting on the sides. Just to brighten it up a little bit more. Whoa, that was wider than I wanted. Oh well. Need to go back and do this other side a little bit on this holly. Alright, let's go ahead and try and shade. Like I said, the color is Hauser dark green. You really want a light touch with this. You really want to blend your paint with this particular color because it goes on pretty dark. And you could end up with a really harsh shading line. But if that's something you're into, it's, you know, that's your style. See, that's a lot harsher than what I wanted. Now I'm just gonna try, you know what, I'm gonna use my better, smaller angle brush. I'm just gonna try and put a thin line of shading underneath the vein of these hollies. And I will go back because I am tapping most of it off, but I don't really want that harsh line. Just try and do a little shading up here, up top, where that star will go, just to cast a little shadow. I'll need to go over that again. All right. I don't know how I feel about that, but sometimes you can do too much highlighting and shading. And personally, I think I did too much highlighting on those holly leaves, which I think I'm gonna go back and darken up. At least on the bottom part of them, the underneath part, so it gives it a little bit of shadow. calm it down a little bit. I'm gonna use moon yellow to, it's gonna highlight, it would be the right side of the star, just to brighten it up a little bit. Something else you can do is if you want that a little bit brighter, you can take some buttermilk and go over that highlight. I've done that just to brighten it up a little bit. Then I'll just go with a little honey brown just to shade the other side, just to make it, it makes the yellow look a little bit different. Changes the color of the marigold. That's what the color I use, if I didn't say. And then too, it just darkens it up a little bit. I like it a little bit darker on the bottom point. Go around where these berries will be. That's a little bit bolder line than what I really wanted, that first one, but it is what it is. I'm not liking that Hauser light green today. I don't know why. But I guess that's the perfectionist in me. All right. Good enough. All right, I'll go ahead and do that. thinking the tree on the red. That is way too much glue. You could have it on the purple. Doesn't look bad on the blue. I was thinking more on the lines of the yellow so it pops. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the stocking blue. I think I'll make the package red with probably a purple bow. I don't know. So I said blue. So I think that's what I made the other small one of the stockings, yeah. So I'm going to use Williamsburg blue to paint my stocking. Because I do want to keep reusing these colors back into these elements. Just so all the colors flow. That's just me. I know the color I used on the cuff of the stocking.
Relaxing Thunderstorm by Nature Sounds for Sleep and Relaxation on Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what she hears that makes her think that you want her to do something. Very bizarre. So I'm just using sand for the cuff. Maybe I'll do a red, I don't know what I said. Did I say a purple package with a red bow or a red package with a purple bow? I can't remember. Kind of rushing to get this done because it looks like it may rain. Looks like we're gonna get another storm. Which means my husband won't be able to get the grass mowed. And I know he wanted to. And from all that rain we've had, it's a lot higher than what he would like. I'm just using the country red again. Country red again. I think I'll go over this cuff just one more time to give it a better coat. Alright. Boy, is my water filthy. So, to highlight the blue, I'm going to use a color called Winter Blue. I'm going to highlight the outside of this stocking. And actually kind of thought about stenciling a snowflake on it. All right. We'll highlight the outside of this package. I'm gonna just do the outside edges, and then of course on top. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna shade underneath where the ribbon would be. So I'm gonna use the neon fiery red again to highlight. Just gotta clean my fingers off because the top of that bottle, it was kind of gunked up. And that's what happens over time. I'll just go along the outside edges first, the one side, and then come back and do the other. Good enough. I'm just going to use a little warm white to highlight around the cuff of the stocking. highlight that little part of the stocking that you hang it from. Okay, I'm gonna shade the stocking with deep midnight blue. And I'll paint inside that little tab area as well. I definitely need to go back and lighten that one side up a little bit. I'll just use my liner brush. Just kind of go like that. Tap on it, blend it a little bit. Whoops, I did wrong side. Wrong one. Right. So that white's not too bright. Oops. Go over it one more time, and that's it. All right. Like I said, I did desert sand on the inside of that stocking. So I'm just gonna try and shade that to darken it up a little bit to give the illusion, you know, that you can tell that's the inside portion of the stocking. All right. Go ahead and shade this. Package. I'm going to use dark plum. I'll let that dry and then I'll go back over the other side. I'll darken it up just a little bit more. Try and extend that shadow out just a little bit wider. Wait. All right, let's paint this ribbon. And then we're going to be done with this. All right, so the color I'm going to use for the ribbon is lavender. I'm going to do it as the same format as I did for the bow on my wreath the same exact way. And I'm just painting this ribbon the purple because I'm just trying to use all the colors. So I want to somehow introduce purple. And I think to paint the package purple for Christmas, might have been too much. I don't know. And purple and red goes really well together. I did a Valentine's insert, which I'm going to be releasing soon. And it's strictly nothing but purple and red. And it looks really, really well together. It's actually a really cute design. It's got a unique element to it. I don't think this purple looks that bad. And once I highlight it and shade it, it'll even look more different. It'll blend a lot better. This purple is really not covering all that great. All right. I know I'm gonna do grape juice on this bow, ribbon, whatever you want to call it, in the center. I'm gonna do that around the edges. I don't know, I just think it might look kind of different. I know I'll do the light purple on the outside. What I use is a color called Wild Orchid. Don't really have my paint blended all that well. Okay. I'm going to give the illusion that this ribbon is kind of crossing. And here's the thing, if I don't like it, I'm going to go with purple on that anyhow, grape juice, so. All right, let's do the outside edges of this bow. Definitely need to go over that again. I use grape juice to shade my lavender. I can tell you that that color is retired, unfortunately. I'm just gonna go over that because it kind of looks stupid. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do that middle one, I'll shade there. That way it will give the illusion that it's the ribbon is crossed over. Whoa, that's too much. Oh well. And I might as well water this down. Just gonna take the grape juice, water it down really good. To do the inside of these bows. Just to give it a little darker cast, just a muted. And you can see there how it's darker than the lavender. But it's not in your face because I am still gonna go back and do float shading. And you can always go back and darken this. I always like to start off lightly, and then if I need to darken it up, I'll go back and do another coat. But see, there's just enough difference there. But as you can see, it's not as dark as this shading, because I've got it really watered down. Still need it a little bit lighter on the outside edges of these bows. I want it pretty bright. That's probably good enough. Now I'm going to go in and just shade on the inside of these ribbons, and I want it right here. I'm going to leave this outside. I'll probably go back and maybe highlight with the lavender. I'm just trying to darken that up a little bit. And I'll probably have to go over it a couple times. I might even mix in a little soft black. I don't know. I don't have enough paint on my brush for that one. But I do think it needs to be just a little bit darker. We'll see what another coat does. If not, I will definitely mix in a little bit of black, soft black. I am going to put a little bit of shading on both sides of this stripe going down, but I'm not going to go to where this crosses over. I'll just go down partially because I want that, you can see how that sticks out. That's kind of what I want. So it gives that illusion that, you know, that particular piece of ribbon is been crossed over the other one. Okay, I think. That was a little bit wider than what I wanted. Whoops. I definitely need to brighten up right in here as far as these bows go. Just gonna let that dry a little bit. But I like the way it's turning out. And I don't think that purple's too bright. Like I said, I think purple and red really go well together. And let's see. I'm just taking the lavender, which is the base color of this bow, ribbon, whatever, and just kind of like highlighting this area, lightening it up a little bit. Just trying to create a 3D illusion. Because like I said, this is, you know, a flat piece of wood. See, just that little bit of highlighting, I think, changes the look of it. Hello. And once that dries, what I'm going to do is go back then with the grape juice. I need to shade on top of the package again and around those couple bows that are laying on top of one another. And that'll just make that pop and look more layered. But I just like to build my layers. That's what I do. And I really would like a pretty dark shadow at the top of this package. And I think this is about done. Maybe a little bit more brighter around that one edge in the center. Just to make it pop just a little bit more to create that illusion of separation. And I'm going to take my lavender and take my wild orchid, and I'm going to blend it. And just do this one more time. Just to lighten it up just a little bit more. Just to give that illusion. Okay, I think that's good. I'll put that on the blue. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it being on the blue. Kind of looks like it gets a little lost, doesn't it? I might have no choice but to go with the Americana look. It's not really what I wanted, but I just feel like that got lost on the blue. So, and once again, you're going with Americana there. So, all right. I'm calling it quits for today. How to assemble this is really, really simple. You just get yourself a piece of twine or rope, whatever you want to use. You just weave it in and out. It's pretty simple. You make a loop on the one end like I did here. And you just cut enough of this and you weave it through. And that way you get the arch that you're looking for as far as the bench goes, what you're after. It has to be a personal preference. And that's it. So it's pretty simple. I will post a picture of the finished product when I'm done. So I want to thank you folks for joining me today. To the 2 people that have stuck around all day, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. I will be back on sometime next week to start a new project. So stay tuned. Until then, have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.